Et voilà, maintenant on est avec Woody Hetzel qui s'occupe de sortir Thunderbomb chez HutChu Games et pour qui c'est le premier Essen, donc une grande découverte pour lui avec un très chouette jeu. Hey Woody, what's new?
What's new? So this is HutChu Games' first time at Essen, and we are incredibly excited to be here. Just an amazing venue for board gaming, and we're here showing off our first game, which is called Plunderbund. We've got Plunderbund laid out here, and these are the first shipments that will make it to customers anywhere in the world today. So we had these air freighted to the show so that we can hand them out to customers. So we're excited to be here.
Voilà, on passe un petit peu au stand de Jolly Dutch Productions pour voir Alexander et Ferret, on a déjà présenté, vous avez déjà une vidéo, vous avez déjà eu la review, vous avez tout ce qu'il faut. On en profite pour lui dire bonjour et voir comment ça se passe. How is the fair?
The fair so far, it's good. We've got a lot of people already getting enthusiastic, so people want to try it out, and we are already full.
Yeah, and you were talking with Fred from Pixie Games, maybe a French translation, maybe?
There are already French rules in it, it's already French on the back as well, but we are going to be talking to Pixie Games indeed to see is there a partnership possible.
Yeah, for this or for the new Boogie Beast?
First for this, and then potentially also for Boogie Beast, and our upcoming game called Erlof.
Wow! Donc c'est une spoiler alerte peut-être, hein, une traduction et un passage chez les Pixies, Ferret. Thank you Alexander. Have a good fair.
Thank you.
Okay, my name is Uli Blennerman of Spielworxx. We are here at Essen at the Spiel fair in 2019. You see our new release, Throne of Allegoria by Robin Lees and Steve McKenzie. As usually, Spielworxx does 1,000 copy print runs, and this is a game that is in a pseudo Middle Ages, early modern times, and it's a game that is very variable because you can do a lot in the game. It has some bidding elements, some action elements, it has some take that elements, and it's a game for 2 to 4 players, and it plays in about 75 to 120, 150 minutes depending on the number of players. On top of that, this is the 4th release we had in this year. We will have another 4 games next year. In March, the next game is a straightforward pick up and deliver game with some deck building elements in the terrain genre. It's called The Grand Trunk Journey. It's by a Franco-Canadian, by Claude Serrois, and I'm very excited for this game.
This year we have Throne of Allegoria, but to Yenzi.
Yeah, the first game of this year was Yinzi, then we had Die Macher, although this was a Kickstarter by Indie Boards and Cards, and Stronghold Games, and we also had another game, Auf der Walz, of course, which was just a 500 copies print run, a very special game in a very low print run. So we had 4 games in total.
Thank you, Yuri.
You're welcome.
Je suis ici avec Josh, donc pour parler de Spire avec Chiptory Games, pas de bêtises. Et il va nous présenter un petit peu les choses les plus importantes pour nous au niveau de Chiptory et de tout ce qu'ils sont en train de sortir ici. So Josh, what can you tell us?
Yeah, my name's Josh with Chip Theory Games, one of the designers of Cloudspire, and Cloudspire is a kind of tower defense MOBA or oh, you're pointing down at that, sorry. Okay. tower defense and MOBA mashup. So MOBA stands for Massive Online Battle Arena. It's a popular genre of video games, and this is kind of our board game take on it. So you play as one of 4 unique factions in the base game, and you have a bunch of unique skills. You have a bunch of unique units. You have minions that are going to march in on these path hexes in a sort of programmed manner, and then you also have hero units that can move wherever they want. You are going to be marching your minions and your heroes toward opposing fortresses, discovering landmarks along the way that will grant you things like relics, also grant you source energy, which allows you to build more things on the board, and in the end you're trying to destroy your opponent's fortress while you're upgrading your own, and trying to have the most fortress health along with upgrades at the end of the game. So that's the player versus player mode. There's also a full cooperative, there's a set of cooperative scenarios in this booklet. There's a full solo campaign. So yeah, there's a ton going on at Cloudspire in the box.
Plein de manières de jouer. Super. Mais je vous souhaite une bonne foire. Have a good fair.
Yeah.
Thank you for all of that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Donc on est chez Tabula Games pour parler de Mystea, qui se trouve ici derrière moi, et pour qui vont faire une belle foire cette année-ci. Voilà. Hi. How is it this year? Mystea.
Okay. Hi, I'm Federico. I'm currently editor at Tabula Games, and this is Mystea. Here at the stand, we bought the first edition of the game, which is exclusive to the first Kickstarter edition. And we have the last existing copies available for the people coming here at Essen. Some months ago we launched the new edition of the game, with some improvements. And here at the stand you can try a 4-player match of Mystea.
Mystea this year and Icaion, so?
Yes, we launched Icaion back in May, along with Mystea Essential Edition, which is the new version of the game. Mystea is a Eurogame area control management with a bit of resource management mechanics. As for Icaion, it's more like a territorial engine building game in which you have to develop an economy based on deployed machinery. We don't have Icaion at the stand today. We are still waiting for the pre-production copies and 2 prototypes to show up.
Have a good fair this year.
Thank you so much.
See you. Donc on se trouve sur le stand de Quined Games, où j'ai la chance de voir Paul, Virginio et Flaminia. Donc Virginio et Flaminia pour Terramara et Paul pour tout ce qui est Quined Games en général.
Terramara è un gioco fantastico, è il nostro preferito, dico solo questo, è un piazzamento lavoratori ma con delle cose piuttosto originali, quindi vi consigliamo di provarlo e vedrete che darà soddisfazione.
No, io non so parlare di queste gente.
It's a commercial.
Matti.
Sì.
What will be the next
La prossima
game?
cosa, teoricamente...
Allez, spoiler alert.
C'est pas possible. Non. Nous avons 2 choses qui doivent sortir la prochaine année, mais je préfère ne le dire pas. Ok?
Come le attrici.
Come le attrici.
Okay. Merci en tout cas. Thank you.
Merci à toi.
Paul, it's up to you. Quined Games. What's new in Quined Games?
Sorry?
What's new?
Well, we have a lot of new games. Terramara, of course, which is number 25, Master Print series, which kind of brings us full circle, because number 1 was also a design by architecta, Leonardo da Vinci. Then we have number 24, which is La Stanza. And then we have a USA co-production, which is Chicago 1875, City of the Big Shoulders, which is a very heavy 18XX style game.
Hey everybody, Dwellings of Eldervale is a fantasy worker placement game for 1 to 5 players. It has everything you could ever want in a worker placement game, including some engine building. So what happens is, you're going into a long lost world full of fire and water and earth and air and chaos and order, and you are playing elves or dwarves, centaurs or trolls, and you are trying to get the most power from that ancient world. Right? And to do that, you play a worker placement game designed by Luke Lurie, who did Manhattan Project Energy Empire, and he believes that worker placement games should not have a bad turn, right? So you either go on with one unit or you bring all your workers back, and when you bring your workers back, you can activate your tableau. You can customize your tableau. So over here he's got a card that he's modified and added a resource to, and so you can make an engine out of your cards. That is after you go on dungeon adventures and fight gigantic monsters.
Voilà, je suis ici avec Gilles Ova de Ferret Games. Je ne dis pas de bêtises, et c'est High Rise qui sont ici, avec le problème qu'il n'y en a déjà plus. Donc il est venu avec tout ce qu'il voulait et tout était précommandé, pour le reste il n'y en a plus. Gilles. Hello. No more High Rise for people, only
pre-orders for pre-orders. Yeah, unfortunately we wanted to have it ready for the show, but delays happen. It's a fact of making games. But we will have copies. They'll ship to backers and pre-order customers around December, and it should be in retail stores around January, February. That's the timeline we're looking at.
Okay, and what is High Rise? What could you say?
So High Rise is a city building game with a little bit of corruption for 1 to 4 players. There's several game modes based on how long you want the game to run, but it can run in 90 minutes or it can run a little over 2 hours based on whether you want a shorter game or a longer game. So you're going to play several rounds around the board. See, there's a track that runs all around the board. If you play Takedo, it's a similar concept, where the player furthest behind on the track, that player gets to move as far they want on the track, and they take whatever actions listed on the space they landed. Now, if they want, they can boost that action by taking corruption, but corruption will bite you if you take too much of it. Of course, it's corruption. Then the next player furthest behind, they go, and so on and so forth. It's actually, I engineered the track in a way that it's very tense. There's a lot of times when you'll be conflicted between making a lot of short jumps and one really big jump, because the one really big jump could be amazing. So it feels different than other time track games, though other time track games are wonderful. It's a great mechanism, but I feel like this game is very different than those others. Now I want to point out one more thing. You notice there are these little tiles over here. There's 15 of them. Sorry. So there's 15 of those tiles, and there's actually 45 in the box. If you pre-order the game, you'll get 5 more to make 50. And you shuffle them, and you have different tiles that come out every game. So the game's very different based on what tiles come out and how you need to play those tiles. So there's a lot of replayability in the game. Beyond that, you can have games where everybody really goes up. This is the corruption track. Everybody goes up the corruption track and is really high. Or the games where they're very careful and they don't take much corruption at all. And the game feels very different based on that. You might have mixes of that where one player is really far ahead, one player is really far behind. So it really depends on how the people are playing. So lots of replayability in this game.
Okay, I need to wait now.
Yes. I'm waiting as well. I'm right there with you.
Bon ouais, j'espère qu'on pourra vous en dire plus d'ici fin décembre au pire, et que au milieu de décembre on devrait pouvoir avoir des nouvelles copies tirées. Et Gilles, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Voilà, je me retrouve maintenant dans la petite boîte avec Soeren de chez Lookout. Et on a la chance ici de voir directement, il nous ouvre devant nous New Dale. New Dale qui est le nouveau jeu expert cette année-ci.
Some of you might already know the card game Oh My Goods from us too. Also developed by Alexander Pfister, the designer of New Dale 2, who is the designer of New Dale 2. And this is kind of the board game version of Oh My Goods, the card game. We're going to play 7 rounds which are driven by event cards, which look kind of like this. So you have some kind of alteration or storytelling or whatever on these cards which drives the story forward within a chapter. In this case, this is a final round card. This is for all chapters the same. So it's a really Euro game completely based on strategy. On the other hand, you have the event cards which drive the story of the chapter, which there are 8 of them, which give you the whole campaign.
But you can play only one game without...
No, that's exactly the second thing I wanted to come to right now. We call, internally at Lookout, we call it Legacy-like. So it's no legacy game, don't get me wrong. You don't change, you don't alter, you don't stick stickers on something or whatsoever.
Shot of stone, like...
yeah, for example. Nothing like that. But because you have the event cards stack and the building card stack and the different, where did I put them? The different boards for the game. So yeah, for example, this here you can see. This is, while the core mechanics are untouched, is completely different. Here you're playing on a wide area with grassland, while you're in a city. And the event cards are reflecting that. So while playing the first chapter, you're playing the very core rules of the game. You're playing this, what I explained, with building production chains, making your goods better. The last chapter is completely different. I don't want to spoil it, so I will not say too much, but it is completely different in comparison to the first chapter, while you're still using the same rules. And on the one hand, that is a great thing. On the other hand, the other great thing is simply, this means there is a simple table in the rulebook, and after you played the campaign and thought, well, you see, Chapter 5 was our favorite, you simply go to this table, look up which of the card numbers and everything has to be included for Chapter 5, and you play Chapter 5 on and on and on again. And if you at some point say, well, I don't like Chapter 5 anymore, I want to play Chapter 3, just do it. So yeah, that's the other great thing about it, that you have a legacy-like development in the game, while you don't have to destroy anything and you can replay everything as many times as you want.
I hope we will see you again next year, so thank you.
You're welcome.